Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game between Desert Fox as our British and Dorado as our Afrikakorps. Map today is going to be Road to Tunis. It's got the 4 quadrants cut off by these cutoff points here. Tend to see a lot of fighting in the center as the game goes on, with the ability to rotate to either side. We will definitely see players kind of sneaking squads around, getting some sneaky captures throughout the game. And yeah, expecting a good one here. German player opening motorcycle, going to give him that extra capping power early. British player has gone for the Australia battle group with opening engineer into Australian light infantry. We'll see where he wants to take it from there. Most times I see people opening with this battle group, they like to go 2 or 3 kangaroo squads, maybe with a heavy machine gun in there. I think a heavy machine gun on this map in particular is pretty decent, but we'll see what he wants to do. Royal Engineers finding this motorcycle, pushing it away. A little surprised to see him push in like that. The Royal Engineers, I mean. I'd like to see him finish that capture. Panzer Pioneers coming down to challenge these Royal Engineers. Motorcycle got a bail. He's trying to be annoying, slowing down that capture. We'll probably see that motorcycle pick up this victory point and then fly to the right side. British player is going to capture that munitions point finally. Australian infantry getting into cover here. Able to push away those Panzer Pioneers. Second Panzer Pioneer getting involved here. Motorcycle got to get out of there. I like this kind of just a greedy repair here. Very close to the front line. Looks like there's going to be a big fight. Interestingly enough, our German player's gone for 3 Panzer Pioneers. That's not something you see very often. And then he has gone for the Luftwaffe company building, and he's immediately adding on some assault grenadiers. So this is a really cool build from Dorado. I don't think I've ever seen this build before. I'm excited to see where it goes. Adding on the Stingo to try to deal with this motorcycle, he is going to pick it up. That's really big. And fortunately for him, I think the Stingo is going to get out of here no problem. British player continuing to capture on the top side, essentially for free. And I'd love to see him go for the fuel. I guess he's going to pick up this cutoff point. We might see him plant a mine. Oh, getting in position to repair. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious why he brought those Royal Engineers over here. But no harm, no foul. So right now, our British player is definitely ahead on territory. Looks like he is going to lose the Dingo. I don't know about that, pushing in those... Wow, Dingo's going to live. That's incredible. Those Royal Engineers pushing into these Assault Grenadiers is super risky. I mean, Royal Engineers are pretty good at close range, but I would say that Assault Grenadiers are better. What I was about to say is the British players got now to a nice early lead here in terms of territory control, but our German player is going to take that back here in the next couple minutes, which is why I was, wondering why he was bringing this Royal Engineer down. I would have loved to see him just pick up some more territory for free. If your opponent's not in an area and you are, cap away. You know what I mean? Like, it's free real estate. So, British player choosing to contest this bottom side, which is great for us as spectators. It's going to be a brawl down here. Dingo getting ahead of the group, scouting out. I believe the Stingo's nearly leveled up to Vet 1, and once it hits that Vet 1, it'll get access to artillery and decoy flares. I just noticed that our British player used his distribute medical supplies back in his base to heal up all his squads. I absolutely love that strategy. Keep everyone healthy, make them more effective in combat. Our German player has gone for the Panzerjäger command, giving him access to these anti-personnel minefields. And our Desert Fox British player smartly predicted that, added on a minesweeper at exactly the right time, and he's going to be able to clear out these mines. So, love that for him. German player has gone for a second Assault Grenadier squad. Looks like they are going to lose this fight to the Australian infantry and dingo combo, despite getting in close. Looks like they are going to make it out, although it's going to hurt. Dingo going to be saved by these Panzer Pioneers. Light infantry getting some good hits on those Panzer Pioneers. Love this from our German player, stealing away this fuel point. This is what I wanted our British player to be doing earlier, right? German player just capturing all this topside. Now, that's an interesting choice. He's added on a second motorcycle. That is not something you see very often. I actually kind of like that decision here. It is going to slow him down just a little bit, but capturing all that territory, being annoying, is clearly something he's invested in, so... Dingo says, oh, want to go around too, Mr. Motorcycle? Big fight breaking out here. Entire British army versus this Panzer Pioneer. As well as this half-track and accompanying Panzerjäger squad. Pioneers going real deep here. Getting whittled away by these Australian forces here. Looks like our German wants to meet his opponent on the field here. Does need to heal up a bit. Yeah, looks like we're going to have a moment of quiet here. Looks like the German player was thinking about stealing that fuel point again. So, phase 1 of being alone on a side of the map is capture everything, right? Phase 2, leave behind stuff. Whether that's mines, or barbed wire, or sandbags. Especially when you've got 3 Panzer Pioneers, I would absolutely love to see our German player leaving behind stuff to help him retake the territory, slow his opponent down in that same space, anything like that. I talk about it every game, and it's a simple way to really elevate your game. I love the cool build from our German player continues, adding on this 8 rad armored car. I really like this unit. I think it fills an interesting niche. It has very high armor, but low health. So it pretty much doesn't take damage from small arms, but once it starts taking damage from any sort of vehicle, it can really get wrecked pretty quickly. British player has added on the armored car here, running for his life, and has also added on this 2-pander light anti-tank gun, which again is something I don't see very often. Fires relatively quickly, doesn't have a huge amount of damage, but against a scout car like this, it's going to be perfect. And almost picking up the scout car. Looks like the armored car, looks like the Humber's gonna try. Driving again through that same minefield. Panzerjäger here to save the day. Might be able to pick up the scout car. That was really nice. That was really nice. So this minefield was pretty much the best thing that ever happened to our German player. Barely saving that territory. Barely saving his armored car. Making that Humber drive through there twice. That was crazy. Almost picking him up with the 2-pounder. Yeah, and that's what we call greed, folks. I mean, I definitely do not blame our British player for trying that. I would have tried that for sure, and I would have suffered probably a worse fate. But, you know, it's hard to let go of low-health squads, and it's hard to let go of low-health vehicles, and it's easy to get yourself in trouble with vehicles because they're so much faster. They can get way deeper into opponent's territory before you realize it's a bad decision, and that's kind of what we saw there. More mines going down from our German player. I really like this. This is a great place for a mine. It's kind of deep, right? So his opponent isn't just going to clean it out with bodies in the short term. This is a defensive minefield that's going to make that holding that center easier later in this game. Second AT gun for our British player. I believe that's a 6-pounder. German player continuing with just the most fun build I've seen in a long time, adding on a second rad armored car here. And it looks like he's going to chase these Royal Engineers, rightly sensing that his opponent's forces are all on that bottom side. And going to pick up those Royal Engineers. Armored car, Panzerjäger running interference for the armored cars. 6-pounder setting up, getting a good hit on the half-track. I think it's going to live, just barely. Nicely done. Armored cars kind of retreating here. I'm curious what these guys vet up to. You just don't see them very often. So increased maneuverability at level 1. Increased DPS at level 2. More range to commander mode. So, I mean, this shows you how little I know about this stinking vehicle, as I don't even know what commander mode. Increased vision range, but disables weapons. And helps nearby units. Very cool, okay. So something died there while I wasn't paying attention. Not sure what it was. Oh, those minefields are brutal. Brutal, brutal. Rad car's coming in. He's got to go. Now these, you know, the drawback of this Australian light infantry is it does not have anti-tank capabilities in the form of mines. Looks like our British player's going to lose another engineer here. Barrage coming in from our German player. I wonder what did that. Was that his... I don't know what just called that in. And it did manage to pick up the 2-pounder there. It's going to bother me. I'm going to have to watch this game again to figure out what that was. In any case, nice barrage by our German. Did pick up the 2-pounder. Fight breaking out over here. Assault Grenadiers almost wiping that squad. Looks like our British player has added on another Royal Engineer. I think that's a good decision. He definitely needs minesweepers. Oh, I did not see this, but our German player has added on a reconnaissance tractor, so that's what did the mortar barrage we just saw. Might lose his half-track here. Armored car coming in to save the day. So I don't mind this from our British player adding on these anti-tank rifles. You know, our German player is very clearly invested in light vehicles. And additional anti-tank capability from a British player isn't going to hurt. At least not at this stage of the game. He does currently have 3 AT guns, 2 6-pounders and a 2-pounder. Which feels like a little bit much, but when he made that 6-pounder, he didn't know if he was going to get his 2-pounder back. So that's okay. But, yeah, this game is looking a little scary for our British player right now. He doesn't have a lot of effective anti-infantry, and these Assault Grenadiers can be a real problem if they get into his lines. That said, I don't think he's going to let that happen. Looks like he's grouping up really hard. I think this is a good decision. He is behind right now, and he is bleeding victory points, so picking up at least 1 victory point by moving on force to one area is what I recommend in a situation like this. Armored cars getting involved, AT guns well positioned for those cars to come in. Nice grenades. Artillery barrage coming down from the tractor there, forcing those AT guns to reposition. And that was a nice, that was nice by our German player. He threatened the British player, slowed him down from capturing this point. Didn't do much dramatic in terms of killing anything, but really slowed him down. So that was nice. Royal Engineers cleaning up those mines there. Armored cars setting up way back. AT guns in position. Gonna get some hits here. They're not firing at the same target. Armored cars gonna back up. Smoke barrage from our German player. So, yeah. Okay, so while all that's happening, I do want to talk about that smoke grenade, but while all that's happening, our German player and British player are both capturing territory elsewhere. Well done by our British player to pick up this mid section, recognizing that the armored cars had moved off. Did manage to see this big old minefield here. Hopefully he can remember that it's there. It's tough to not only see that minefield, but remember it's there in the heat of battle. Another minefield. So mines absolutely everywhere. AT guns setting up on that half track. Gonna force those Panzerjägers back. And player gonna capture the middle and the bot side. But using the tractor to capture, that's not something you see every day. And yeah, this has just been a really nice... This has been a really cool game. Different builds by both players. Responding to what the other was doing. It's been a really cool game. And, I knew these mines were good, but holy cow, our German player has taken those minefields to another level, continuing to capture with his tractor, which is definitely a bold decision. He does know that he's got his opponent hemmed into his base, but, be capturing like this, all it takes is one mine or one squad, and that truck's in trouble. 12 Grenadiers holding down, using this heavy cover. I'd like to see an AT shell pick up this cover, clear it away. Don't give those Grenadiers a place to sit. It's like the boys' rifles are going to do it for them. What I wanted to say about smoke earlier is we saw that line of AT guns sitting in front, getting smoked out, right? And that can lead to a false sense of security for your opponent. Ooh, big grenade hit there. That's going to kill a ton of units. Yeah, Grenadiers getting a bunch of kills before bailing out. Nobody died, though. No squad losses, so it's okay. Here comes a Crusader tank. I think that's a really... that's going to help against his opponent's current army composition. But unfortunately for our British player, his opponent is adding on the Panzer Command Company now. Excuse me, Panzer where they build the tanks. He's going to build some tanks, and our British player is going to have to deal with that. Ooh, big AT hits on these armored cars. He's not going to get them, it doesn't look like. There's mines everywhere, dude. Mines everywhere. In any case, we might see our German player add on a Panzer III. We may see him continue to save. And he does have a pretty dominating map position here. Wouldn't mind seeing him save up for a Tiger, despite the fact that it's going to be several minutes away. That said, he doesn't have any AT capability beyond the Panzerjäger there. So he is going to add on a Martyr 3, which I think is a good answer to that Crusader. Never did finish my thought about those smoked out AT guns. They can lead to a false sense of security because you can attack ground through hedges and smoke with your AT guns, and it can pick up it can be a sneaky pickup. So I was so infatuated with I was so focused on what I wanted our German player to do next that I did not notice our British player losing there. Yeah, well done by our German player. I mean, he had dominant map position a lot of that game. I think you can easily contribute that to the gigantic number of mines. Adding on light vehicles for that high mobility to capture all over the map. Adding those armored cars. Our British player was definitely not expecting those. Yeah, it was just a really cool composition from our German player. So despite that anticlimactic ending, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, and I will see you in the next video.